you so much for letting us have a chat today.
No, it's my pleasure. My pleasure.
Excellent. Excellent. So we'll start from the beginning. How did you originally get into horse racing?
Well, I was born in Paris and making my studies in Paris. My family was not in horse racing, but we have been around horses since we were very, very young, you know. So I was always had interest in horses, not specifically, as I said, in horse racing, but we have been riding since we were 4 years old, you know. So we were very close to that. And slowly, when I make the army, you know, in France at that time, you have to make 1 year in the army. I was useless, by the way, but I did not defend too much my country. But I made the army, and then university, and I was getting close and close to the racing world, and really being interested because all kind of horses. I don't answer really to your question, but all kind of horses get my interest, you know, polo, show jumping, whatever, hunting horses, which my dad had, and racing. And suddenly I got the opportunity after university or to work in a company in Paris or make a business school in USA. And I decided finally to go to USA, but to work in the horse business. So my father was extremely disappointed, and I spent 2 years in the States. I went to Kentucky, and I worked in 2 farms, Bedford Farm and Spendrift Farm, who disappeared since. But in Bedford Farm, I was taking care of brood mares and everything, all the breeding section. And in Spendrift, I spent 8 months in Spendrift. I was in charge of 4 stallions, so I learned, you know. Coming from France, I didn't know about racing. I met the best, at that time, the best pedigrees in the world, the best horses in the world, you know. So this pushed me to come back after 2 years from US to Chantilly in France, which is a massive training center. You heard of it, of course.
Yeah.
I became assistant to, unfortunately, he passed away, to François Boutin, who was a legend at that time. And I've been his assistant trainer for 4 years.
Okay.
So that's how I came, you know, into the racing world, horse racing business. And after 4 years, he said, now it's for you, it's time to get your own training license. And so go ahead. That was on January, because I've been in 2 months, I will be 40 years I'm a trainer. Can you believe? Yeah. You're so young, and you know, make me feel a bit old, even I feel extremely young. But I got my license, my first official training license in France on January 1st, 1983. So in 2 months, I will be exactly 40 years.
Yes. Yeah. And what was your discipline at university?
Oh, that was Paris Dauphine. It's a business and economy.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that was helpful. That's why my father had great expectation for me. I didn't know what he thought, or maybe to become president of France or something like that. So finally, I went to the States to muck stables in Kentucky. So that was his disappointment.
Yeah,
and of course that.
Yeah, you said a moment ago that your father was disappointed, so that's why I had to ask what you studied at university.
Yeah, well, when I went to university, I said, what was the point, you know?
Yeah.
I said, well, that's what I want to do now. And, you know, it came like that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. And this was just another question that came to me. I saw a video where you spoke about the importance of trialing young horses, especially at the racetrack, and that it wasn't about winning in trials, but it was more about the education and the schooling, introducing the horses to the racetrack, traveling to and from the racetrack. How important is that style of training and trialing for a horse, especially a younger horse, in terms of your style of training?
Well, I think this schooling, this early age, first of all, you know, Arabian horses is new for me. I discovered them 7 years ago when I came to UAE.
Yes.
I've been training all my life thoroughbreds, and that's one point. And for whatever the horse is, the education, the schooling when they're young is the base of the base, you know?
Yes.
30 years ago, I should say, I don't want to talk about the past because that's not,
Yes.
I'm not a past man, but
Yes.
30 years ago, for financial reasons only,
Yes.
trainers used to break the yearlings, to school the yearlings to do the whole job, and then get them ready. If they could run at 2, talking about thoroughbreds. And this, to answer your question, is the base of the base.
Yeah.
Now, for financial reasons and no other reasons, nobody will tell me the opposite. I will not trust him.
Yes.
People, they send their young horses to pre-training center. Yes. Because it's less expensive. And I understand, you know, the world has changed. Now training fees are extremely high all over the world, and you need to make you need to run your business. So pre-training center appeared from everywhere, and among them you got really professional guys and useless people. It's like in any kind of business, because for me, this education of the young horse is the base. I mean, you're going to build the future champion or whatever, or the normal horse, but a horse is a horse. Yeah. And we have to be, maybe I'm just going away from your initial question, but
that's all right. Yeah.
No, I think pre-training is important to school the horses. Yeah. We don't ask the pre-trainer to say, okay, send me the horse and 3 weeks later we run. No.
Yes.
No. Yes. The trainer is the trainer, the pre-training is pre-training. And sometimes people make a mistake because they think that for a cheap price they can get the horses ready to run. It's not working that way. Yeah. And if you overrun, you're in a rush. Every time you rush, you make a mistake with horses.
Yes.
End of the story. Yeah.
Yeah. And you've won 11 Group 1s now, is it?
I won 37 Group 1 in my career.
37 Group 1s. Okay. Okay.
7 in UAE. Yes.
That is amazing. And you talk about your time with Satwa Queen and the Group 1 you won in 2007, and how traveling with that horse was a lot of fun. What was it about that horse and that experience that stood out for yourself?
Well, she was number one. She was a marvelous mare, Satwa Queen. She got a story because her owner is living in Dubai and in UK, and he named her Satwa Queen because at that time he was living in Satwa in Dubai, you know. Yeah. So he named her Satwa Queen, and all his horses were called King or Queen. Satwa Queen, Ruby Queen, you know, all that stuff. And this filly, she won this last Group 1, which was the Prix de l'Opéra on Arc Day. And that was the last Group 1 winner I had in France before I left for UAE, you know. Yeah. So we had marvelous time with this girl, because with this filly, going to Hong Kong, going to the Breeders' Cup and everything. We had a lot of fun. She was very enjoyable. She won 5 group, including 2 Group 1, including the Prix de l'Opéra, which is a massive race for mares in Europe. So that was the last Group 1 I won. The first Group 1 was you were not born, in 1991.
Oh, no, I was born in 1991.
You were born?
Yeah, I was born in 1987.
Yalla, so I'm so happy to hear that. So 1991, I got my first Group 1 winner. Yeah. 8 years after I got my license, with Carolina in France. She won the Prix de Diane. Prix de Diane is the French Oaks. That's the first classic race for fillies in France. You got the Guinness in the Oaks in England, and the Prix de Diane in France. So that was my first massive Group 1, who helped me a lot in my career, of course. Yes.
Yeah. And with all the wins and all the Group wins and Group 1 wins, what are some other highlights or horses you've held highly as a trainer?
Well, you know, I try to never compare horses. You know, sometimes people ask me, "Oh, what have been the best horse you trained in your life?" Yeah. And I think it's not nice for the others if you give a name. In 1991, I'm sure horses 30 years later, they go faster. They go faster than they were going in 20 years before. When you see a Flightline winning the Breeders' Cup Classic, I'm sure the athletes, the horses have changed. So to answer your question, had mostly, I don't know why, mostly fillies. I've been more successful with fillies than colts. I had many fillies. I got a beautiful filly called Queen Maud, won 3 group races in France and 1 Hong Kong in the International Day. Some other fillies, Carolina I mentioned. I cannot give you really one name. Here in UAE, for example, because Arabian horses are fascinating, because when they say yes, they mean no, and when they say no, it means yes.
Yeah.
So it's a bit more complicated to train them.
Yes.
But with the horses, His Highness is sending me, and it's getting better and better every year now. I've been here like lately. Let's talk about lately. Horses like Laura, Armas, Somoud. I've been really lucky to win 4 President Cup almost in a row in 6 years of training, because the first year I had no horses. So I don't answer it to your question, but each year is new for me. I have some prospect this season, and that will be the last horse I will remember, to be honest with
you. Yeah. And we talk about your move to the UAE in 2016, how it was greatly documented. What was the motivation behind that move?
Well, I have to be really honest with you. My major owner at that time, who had a lot of horses with me, stopped. He said, I want to stop racing for personal reasons.
Yes.
And my other owner passed away, and I still had around 50 horses in training. I had 100 horses at that time. And I really, how can I say? I was not having a positive attitude or feeling about the future.
Yeah.
Like, will I find again somebody who's able to buy or to breed nice horses? Because how can I say? I don't want to be arrogant or feel spoiled, but if you don't have the opportunity by luck to get some nice horses, training average horses is boring, my friend.
Yes. Yes.
We wake up very early in the morning. It's a hard work.
Yeah.
You have to be passionate. We all trainers will tell you that, and I saw that. And in the same time, they contacted me through a friend. They contacted me. They came to see me in France 3 times, and they make proposition to me. It was not that easy because I had a lot of staff at that time in France, and you don't stop like this. You have a lot of. So I had to get things organized. Took me more than 6 months, and finally, the 3rd time they came to Paris, they say, "Okay, Jean, now you have to say yes or no." Huh? And I say yes, because what they proposed to me, there was a new adventure. I could not refuse. Honestly, it would have been silly to refuse.
Yes.
So that was a big change of life. Yes.
Yes. And before you said having average horses with your passion makes things boring, I would say it's like having average like football players or parts of team. It takes away the passion you have to compete.
It's true. It's totally true. But I tell you one thing: when you have a period of time as a trainer where you don't win any races, number one, your wife is not talking to you anymore.
Yes.
Which is a problem. Your friends don't call you anymore, and they think you're no good. And suddenly you win a little race on a small track, like it's a lovely place, but in Sharjah you win a 20,000 dirhams race with a very average horse. This horse is a champion, he's a star. I mean, he gave everything. Yes. That's his level, but he won it. And this give you all of a sudden some, the energy. When you drive back to Sharjah, this boring road, Island Road, when you fall asleep time, you feel excited just because you want to race. There is no little or big race. Of course, Group 1 is fabulous.
Yes.
You feel on the roof of the world.
Yes.
But small races, I have a lot of respect for small horses because they gave everything just at their level, That's the way I feel, This is a very... this business, my friend, is a school of humility.
Yes.
And I've seen specifically in some sports, like horse racing, people, they have a period of time, they don't win races, they're unlucky, or that the form is not there anymore. Suddenly they start winning again, and they don't talk to everybody. They just think that Napoleon. I don't know what's
Yeah.
in their brain.
Yeah.
You have to stay very humble because you never know what tomorrow will be. And this is something by experience. I was a stupid, arrogant little guy when I started training horses.
Yeah.
and now I think maybe I'm still stupid. I don't know. You will tell me.
Yeah.
But I'm not arrogant at all. I know the game, and I know that tomorrow is always another day. We had a beautiful start last week with 4 runners, 3 winners, and 1 place. This was tomorrow is always another day, and I never know what this week will be and the next week will be. So we have to be very quiet and modest and humble.
Yeah, that's it. And with the move to the UAE, what are your thoughts on racing in the Middle East at the moment while its profile continues to rise?
Well, honestly, I only knew about Dubai and the carnival in Dubai. I didn't know Abu Dhabi. I didn't know Arabian horses, as I told you. So this was totally new for me. So I had to discover, to adapt myself to this. Here, there's something extremely specific. Prize money is high, is big in the big races only, but it's very exciting. But there's one thing specific to UAE, to the Middle East, especially UAE. Season is extremely short. Yeah, extremely. You know, in Europe, I was used to say, okay, this horse, we'll give him time. Let's wait for the spring, or let's wait for this. Let's send him back to the farm for 3 months to rest. He will come back. You can do that here. I mean, if your horses are not fully ready at the end of October, it's going to be tough, my friend, because very short. You cannot miss it. You know.
Yeah. So I'm in Australia. So I'm based in Australia. I'm Australian. So I completely understand when you say the season is so short, because in Australia it's year round. So I completely understand where you're coming from with that.
Absolutely. Yes.
And you said that the team based there came to see you and in a way, court you to come to the UAE 3 times. What kind of owner is His Highness, and how much of an influence does he have on your training style?
Well, I didn't change my training style, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Maybe I work them less harder than I used to for thoroughbreds. Also, you have to respect them when they are young.
Yes.
Arabian horses, when they're 3 years old, if you push the red button too early, then you're in trouble, because they're not ready. Those horses, for me, they really get mature at 5. Also, I've been told by experienced people, more than myself, that if you run a 4-year-old too many times or only 1 time against age horses, you can destroy this horse. Yeah. So all those things, I made a lot of mistakes, man. Don't worry about that. I did. You know, that's how you get experience. Yeah. And so I adapted myself to this. But this was an exciting challenge, because I knew the potential His Highness had as a breeder, and what kind of horses I could get. On top of that, the man in charge, the manager of His Highness for the whole racing activity all over Europe and UAE, we became friends, and we're working together hand in hand, you know. And when we're working, it's totally professional, and outside of this, we're friends. I like this attitude. I like this atmosphere. I like to work that way. And also we have to talk about things, because being here is a lovely place to be. I just got Etisalat to send me my invoice when you were talking to me. This is
perfect timing.
This is you. Okay, financially and for many reasons, life here is beautiful. I mean, my heart is in France, of course. Yes. Definitely, I like to go in the southwest, where I'm based now, of France. But my heart is in UAE. They have been treating me really well, and I cannot complain. I mean, I feel spoiled. I feel spoiled, honestly.
Yes. And we've spoken about the past, and we'll speak a little bit about the future now. What are the plans for the upcoming season, especially given that short turnaround in terms of that shorter season?
Well, there's a twist. There's a chance, because I don't have any more too many old horses. I got Somoud. He won 3 Group 1 already, twice the President Cup. It will be my old horse for Group 1. But also I got behind him 2 4-year-old, 5 years old. I've got a lot of expectation in them, and the rest of them of my stable are 3-year-old. I'm starting, so already I run twice, 3-year-old last week. Luckily, they won both of them. So I got a large crop of 3-year-old this season. So I'm starting with new horses for the first time since I've been there.
Yeah. And so how large is the stable at the moment?
Well, not too many. I got 36 horses in training.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is good. It's okay. I wish I had more, but that's the way it is, and I take it like this.
Yeah. And in terms of stars of the stable, do you look to Samud having that experience in terms of the Group 1 wins as the star of your stable? I know you said you don't like to compare horses, but at the moment, who are some, either one or two or a couple that, fans of the sport can really keep an eye on?
Well, Samud among the all horses is the only one I have. Yes, it's a Group 1 potential. He's going to run in the Jewel Crown. He will meet the best Arabian horses in the world. There's a filly you heard of her called Lady Princess. Yeah. She's absolutely a star. She's amazing. Yeah. But I got Samud. I got 2 5 years old called Murakib and Darin. They came lately from France last year. They both won. I got expectation on those 2. I got 1 4-year-old only this year called Hakam, who won last Sunday, a prestige race. I have expectation on him, and then 3-year-old. Yeah. Among the 3-year-old, I think I have 15 or 20 horses. Very interesting, very interesting. And I think he didn't run yet. That I got a star, but we have to be very cautious about that. Yeah. We run on December 2nd. And his name, I'll tell you his name, because the other day somebody asked me, what is his name? I didn't say his name. His name is Faisal, and he's the full brother to a 3 Group 1 winner called Mabruka, Jude, Hermas, full brother. I won the President Cup with here. And he's a beautiful horse. And the way he's working, he seems to be my best 3-year-old. So let's wait. Let's be very careful about this. Yeah. I have great expectation in this horse for the future.
Yes. Awesome. And the final question, I didn't have this in my original questions, but I had to ask it. You said earlier you're coming on 40 years as having your light training license. Is that correct?
Got my license January 1st, 1983.
Yeah.
In 2 months.
And this year you celebrated your 70th birthday. Is that correct?
Oh my God! Who told you that? No, I'm 45.
Yeah. So you obviously still passionate and have love for the sport. What's the future for yourself as a trainer in this sport?
I'll tell you something, because if one day there is no age for this, I think the more experience you have, it's like a good red wine. Yeah. I don't say I'm a good red wine, but I say that in this business, one day you have to wake up early. If one day I say, oh my God, it's boring, you have to go to the track again. Yeah. It's stop, because then you will become really bad. As long as energy, you like competition as much as I do, and you enjoy to be around horses and your staff and everything. I feel alive every morning, Yeah. As long as I will have that, I will keep going. If one day I feel the opposite, like I'm bored, it's better to stop, because I will make a lot of mistakes that would not be good. And by respect to His Highness,
Yeah. Thank you so much for this, Jean. It's been really great. It's been great.
Thank you so much.